Hi everybody, it's Debbie and this is Bubble and Squeak. I've decided for the next 3 videos I'm going to focus on color layering. The first one we're going to start with is what we call wedge color layering, where we have our mat and I'm taking our mold and I'm laying it over the edge and kind of centering it. I can see through to the ridge below so that we have a nice angle so that we can build our first color. And we're going to do this 3 times to make a wedge colored soap. Today I'm going to do the sparkling clear glycerine. So I've actually got 3 containers because I'm going to use 3 colors to do this wedge soap. And I've kind of divided it out between 3 containers. I know this one takes, this bar is 2 ounces, so I've measured out 2 ounces worth of soap using my scale. And then I have cut it up into cubes and I've kind of just divided it between the 3. It's not exact, but it's close. So I'm going to go through what we're using today. We're going to use the 3 colors. These are the Stardust Mica. This is a nice green color that I have here. And then we have the orange and a nice yellow. So they're nice bright colors. I'm going to use lemon essential oil, obviously in the yellow colored soap, tangerine for the orange, and the green I ran out of lime, so I'm going to go with a sparkling mojito, which will have a nice lime scent to it. I have my rubbing alcohol. This one is actually 99%, not 70%. I just use the bottle because it's got the sprayer. I have my little scoops that I use. I have my bath bomb molds that I put my colors in. I've done 2 already and I've reserved the green for last so I can show you how it's done. There's a little bit of rubbing alcohol that I have put in the bottom of, I don't know if you can see it, there it is, the bath bomb mold. And then I'm just going to take a scoop of the green mica, put it in, and I'm messy with this. And then I'm just going to stir it until it's all dissolved into the rubbing alcohol. So that's pretty good there. This is what the mica powders look like. They're very dusty, so I suggest when you're doing it that you are careful. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm just going to melt down my soap base, and I have my temperature gun here as well that I use because I don't want to be putting essential oils and colors in much above 150, that way it doesn't burn them off. So I'm just going to go ahead and melt my first color and I'll be right back. So I'm back, and as you can see I've melted down the first color. I think I put it in too long, and I really want to be careful with the crystal clear because if you burn it you get an opaque kind of color. So I do 10-second bursts, and I think I just did it a little long. So this is at 2:12.2 at the moment, so I don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let it simmer down with the temperature, and I'll be back to add the color. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've put my green coloring, mica coloring in, and I'm just going to take a one of these stir sticks I have. They're just long skewers, and I'm just going to give it a nice stir just to make sure that all the color is mixed in well. And this should be okay now to put the essential oil in. Sitting at 158, that's okay. It's a little more than I normally do, but that's alright. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to add in a few drops of the mojito to the green. And I'm just going to give it a stir. So I've just put them in. Drops in. I put about 10 to 15 drops in here. When you buy your scenting, it'll tell you how much you can put in, and that smells delicious. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pour it into this side of the mold. I want to make sure I've got that good dip. Pour from the edge. And I'm actually going to want this raised up a little more. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because I want this color to build up to the top. So as you can see, I've put even more of an angle on it, and I'm going to continue to build the color in here. Okay, it's skinning already. And I want to make sure that it reaches that top piece, so I'm going to actually have to build it up a little more. You'll learn this as you go. I'm still new with the color blocking, so I've got it to where I want it to be right now, so I'm going to block it up a little more. I'll be right back. Okay, so I found if I stuck one of these underneath the mold here in the middle, I get a good line. I'm just going to see if I can zoom in so that you can see just how high up that is. So now I have a nice edge, and I want to see that edge come as close as possible. I dripped a little bit here, and that's me. As close as possible to the edge of the mold, so that when this sets and I flip it the other way, I've got a nice clean line for doing the center. So we're going to let this set now, and then I'm going to be back to do the other side. I'm just going to give this a spritz of rubbing alcohol to make sure all the bubbles are out. And then once this is set, we will go ahead and we will do the next side. I think I'm going to do a yellow on the other side, and you can see the colors are kind of spreading and evening out now that the bubbles are coming out. And then we're going to go ahead and do the orange in the center to give a nice contrast between the green and the yellow. So I'll be back once this is set, and so we can rotate it to do the next side. Okay, so I'm back, and as you can see, the green soap has now set. So I've gone ahead and I've melted my next amount of clear melt and pour. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add the yellow to this one. I'm just going to put a little bit more rubbing alcohol in with the mica. I'm giving it a little stir here just to make sure it's all in. And I'm going to add it to the melt and pour base. And then what I do is I just take a little bit of rubbing alcohol and I spray it in the bottom to make sure that all the mica's out and into the soap. Now remember that the rubbing alcohol does dissipate out of the soap again. It will come out. And I'm just going to take another stir stick here, and I'm just going to give the soap a nice stir to make sure that all the yellow has mixed in nicely. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my lemon essential oil to the soap. Okay, so I've put about 10 to 15 drops of essential oil in with this. The nice thing about essential oil is we don't have to be as precise. A little more won't hurt the skin. It's just with scentings that are synthetic that we have to watch that. So I'm going to go ahead now, and what I've done is I've taken 2 of these mica jars and I've propped the mold on it to give it a nice slope for this. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so you can see better. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to begin to pour the soap into the mold until it reaches the top. Smells really nice and lemony. You want to be very careful to not over pour, so I'm just going to be very gentle with this. And so now we have a nice color wedge going on. And I'm going to go ahead and spray this with rubbing alcohol just to make sure that all the bubbles come out. And now we're going to let this set again, and then we're going to pour our middle amount, our wedge, into the middle of this, and it'll flatten out the rest of the square soap mold. So we're just going to let this set now, and I will be back once this is set to do the last step. Okay, so I'm back, and as you can see now we have a nice wedge of the green and the yellow soap. And so now we're going to do the orange in the center, and as you can see, like the sides have a nice triangulated wedge on both sides. They're not exact, but you know what, it's soap, it doesn't have to be exact. This is homemade, so it's not perfect. If you want it perfect, I suggest you do slicing of your bottom pieces so that when you do the yellow you get the exact match. I, on the other hand, like the idea of it not being 100% exact, and then when you're using the soap you get that really nice feel of the homemade soap. So I've gone ahead and I've melted down my last clear glycerin, and I'm going to add in the orange coloring to this now. See the mica settled in this. I probably should have given it one more stir. That's okay. Okay, and for this one I'm going to add in tangerine for the scenting. The one I have is essential oil, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the 10 to 15 drops in of the tangerine. That was closer to 20. I have my skewer. I'm going to stir it all in, and as you can see it's a nice pretty orange. These bars will make a really nice hand soap, or you can use them in your shower, bathtub, whatever you like. Okay, so what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to score the soap that's in there already, just so that the orange will stick to it well. And I'm also going to spray it with rubbing alcohol. Get it right into the crack. And this will help it as well adhere to both pieces of soap on each side. Okay, I'm going to check my temperature and see where we're sitting at, because I don't want to pour it hot because it'll make the colors bleed. It's at 129, so I'm going to let it cool just a little longer now, and then I'll go ahead and I will pour it in. Okay, while I'm waiting for this to cool just a little bit more, my orange soap, I just want to point out I had some extra soap. I want to correct myself. This is a 4-ounce bar, not a 2-ounce bar, so my apologies. You're going to need 4 ounces of clear base. I've taken my extra soap and I did a swirl, and I've put holes in it now so that when I pour my leftover orange on it, it can sink into the holes and it'll help it all stick together. I just wanted to do something with the extra soap, and I'll probably use it at the sink to wash hands. Okay, so you can use up your extra soap, or you can just put the different colors in the bottom of the molds and let it set so that you can use it for another project another time. I'm running out of hand soap, so I thought that would be a good idea. So I'm going to check the temperature of the soap again. It's sitting at 119. Yeah, 119.5. I don't know if you can see that on the gun or not. Probably not. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the pour now. And I just want to bring it up to the top of the other two. So I'm going to do a very slow pour so as not to cause any issues. Going down the middle. And I'm just going to wait for it to come to the top of the mold. And hopefully I won't do my usual and spill, because I'm terrible at that. Oops, and as usual, I have over pour. I don't know why I do this to myself every time, but I do. I'm just going to tip it so that it's covering everything. That's okay. I will take this soap and I will actually, once it's set, I will go ahead and I will put it back in with my other soap. I have a little bit of orange left, so I'm just going to put it on the other soap that I've made and let it even out. And this one is just a little soap that I'll use for my hands when I'm at the sink doing dishes. I have a little bit left in the bottom of this, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reheat it, and then I'm going to pour the rest of it in on my extra soap. Okay, so my soap is now set, and so we're going to do the unmolding. Let's see how this turned out. Pop it out here. Oh, it's beautiful. So I will end up cleaning up the edges, just so that nothing extra is on the edging of the soap. I normally do this with gloves on, but because this is for me, I'm being bad and not using my gloves. So as you can see, we have our 3 layers of soap. So we have the yellow, and the orange, and the green, and no matter way you look at it, it is lots of fun. So that is our wedge block technique, and if you cut the soap you would get the wedges. So I'm going to cut this bar in half so that you can see how it wedges down through. And if you look at the bottom, so no matter which way you look at this soap, it's lots of fun. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get a knife and I'm going to cut this. Okay, so I'm back with my knife, and I'm just going to cut this approximately in half so that I have 2 nice smaller bars for the bathrooms. Now I normally have my soap cutting knife, but I've put them away for now. So there we go. And that's what happens when you wedge it. So you have that kind of look. And you could take something like this and you could put it together in another mold and then pour around it and make something different with it. But for all intents and purposes, I'm going to keep it like this and put these 2 bars in the bathroom. So there you have the wedge soap. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and if you have any comments or you'd like me to do a video on a different kind of technique, please let me know, and I will be doing, this is part 1 of 3 on color layering techniques. The next one I'm going to do is layering one color from white up to a dark, so you get the color gradient. So I hope you enjoyed this video and have a good day.